Can I clarify something?
Please, yeah.
Because I had someone in the chat, and I'm not criticizing the guy in the chat, said, someone tell Kirby that that we should want Luis Robert. I'm going to say his name right for once.
Yes.
Robert.
Thank you.
I'm going to say his name right. Let me make sure I make my stance on Robert very clear. I did not want Robert in the offseason when you were going to have to give up 4 prospects for him, which, by the way, I think was probably the right call. We'll leave it there. I am all for it now. I'm all for it now that you're not paying. I don't think. I'm all for it now if it's not one of these ridiculous hauls. Now, I know that they were wanting Mark Vientos from the Mets. 1 for 1, I'm a little bit more on, but if you're talking giving up 4 legitimate top prospects for a guy that has as much risk as Robert does, I'm not for it. Now, if you're talking giving up 1 prospect that I like, just 1 for it, yeah, I'm a lot more inclined on that. So I'm much more on buying Robert now, buying him low. I just wasn't buying him. It felt like in the offseason you were buying high on a guy that shouldn't be bought high on.
I think what you're trying to say is that Nick typically would like to purchase the bottles of water outside the stadium for $1.
Hell yeah.
Than to walk into the stadium and have to pay $10.
Pretty much.
And that's a fair point. The bottle of the water, relatively the same. You would have been proud of me, by the way.
That's one of your. That might be a top 5 analogy on the show.
Oh, gosh, that means all of my other analogies have been pretty bad. But go ahead.
Well, someone asked me. He asked me read his splits against lefties. I was looking this up the other day. We were talking about this actually.
After the show. Yeah.
Like he has a 966 OPS against left-handed pitchers this year.
Yeah.
Like he has a 422 on base percentage against lefties. He hasn't even been his best self, and he has destroyed lefties. So worst case scenario, I think you're getting a massive upgrade against lefties. And I still think against right-handed pitchers, you're getting a guy that has a chance to be decent. So yeah, I'm all for Robert. I'm not. Suarez is better, but I don't think the gap between Suarez and Robert's potential, especially when you factor in what you're giving up, and the fact that you still have a chance if Robert plays really well, you still have him for 2 more years. You basically have an audition for a couple months at Great American Ballpark in a team that's hopefully competing for a playoff spot. So yeah, I'm all for Robert right now.
I think we both like Robert a lot, and I think we like him for pretty much the same reason, and that is sometimes you feel like guys just need a new scenery to have a bounce back, and I think that's the case for Robert. No disrespect. I'm not going to talk down on the Chicago White Sox, but I could understand someone's morale maybe being a little low playing for that team. Like last year, and even, I haven't kept tabs on the White Sox, so I would feel really bad if they were like around a 500 team. I highly doubt that they are. But point is that I think that you get yourself on a team with the likes of the Elly De La Cruzes of the world again, and you find a little bit of life, and you're just a different player. And I think that Robert is a guy that has the ceiling that we need to get to a special place, period. Eugenio Suárez, as much as I love Eugenio Suárez, and I think that Jim Day would be doing great bits again, and we'd have the whole team back together, I just have a hesitation with him because, let's face it, how many times have you seen guys have unbelievable, kind of first halves, or there's a little more than first half at this point, to be fair to Eugenio, but then it just kind of subsides because you always are who you are on the back of your baseball card, and that's what it kind of feels like with Eugenio. You go to another team, they're expecting a whole hell of a lot out of you. You're going to start to maybe try to press a little bit because you know how much they feel like they need you, and then it just doesn't go the way you hoped. To be clear, I'll take Eugenio if you're telling me that it's a good value, but I definitely think a guy like Robert, this team struggles against left-handed pitching. Like, let's face it, when a lefty throws, Nick, we inevitably look at the lineup, and there's always those comments underneath the lineup card that are, oh my gosh, like this is brutal. There's no way this team's going to score. Well, that helps I mean, one bat, as we've seen this year, can go a long way. Austin Hayes is a perfect example of one bat entering your lineup and feeling like it changes the whole look of the lineup and the feel of it. Because we've seen what this looks like without Hayes in the lineup before earlier this year, and we've seen what he's capable of doing when he's in it. You add in another, again, I think that's what we need, Austin Hayes type of player, and I think that can genuinely get us to another level. The debate that we were trying to have yesterday, Nick, is that level even good enough? I think that's the fair debate to be had. And it's a fair debate. And there's no doubt about it. Is that, if you go up a level, is that even good enough? And I think it's fair to say, there's a lot of fans that'd like to find that out. And I don't think any of us are against that. All right.
And
go ahead.
And also, like, this is also part of my point. Like, I know no one wants to think about this happening. I know everyone's just like, hey, forget about this happening. But there's a possibility, look, the Reds go out, they lose 8 of their next 10, and they're out of the race right away. All right? And if you trade for Eugenio Suárez, now you have a player that's, I mean, maybe, like, you don't really have that big of a leg up on signing him. Like, you can't offer him a qualifying offer because you didn't have him a whole year. And honestly, you have a guy that's almost playing a position that, well, you kind of maybe would rather see Marte or Sal Stewart playing that. Like, there's a downside to that. With Robert, let's say the exact same scenario happens. Okay, well, there's clearly plenty of spots in the outfield for him to play. Right. And he's still auditioning to see if he's a solution for 2026 and 2027. So that's what I like, because it's not like your chips aren't all in on Suarez and all in on this year. Yes, Robert has a chance to really, really help you this year, but you're also still thinking ahead as well. And I just want them to be doing both. That's where I'm at. Really on this whole thing.
If Robert, and again, I'm just saying, like, if Robert bounced back and let's just say was pretty serviceable towards the end of this year, but then let's just say even next season bounces back and has one more of those, what you would call, like, significant elite type level seasons, would anyone be, like, shocked about it? Like,
no,
I don't think anyone would be. And that's kind of the point of this whole thing. That's why I get excited if you told me that Luis Robert is going to be a part of this team, because I just think that he brings something to the table that we just don't have that many guys that are like that. We don't. Like, as much as we want, I guess this is where I get in trouble when I do this stuff, because people are going to get mad at me. But, like, as much as we want Jake Fraley or Will Benson or like even TJ Friedl, right? Like, he's been as good as we could have ever imagined. But his ceiling is never, in my opinion, going to be even close to what Luis Roberts is going to be. Not even remotely close. The only guy on this baseball team that's ceiling is like that is, in my opinion, Elly De La Cruz, and maybe you could convince me of Noelvi Marte. Maybe. And, like, if for all the people that want to gamble, like, let's do it. Like, let's go Riverboat Casinoing. Let's Riverboat Casino on guys that you tell me suck, that I think might not suck. That's what, what's funny about it all? We kind of have the same mentality in a different way. Like, what we were doing with Will Benson earlier this year, and everybody screaming and yelling at us and telling us that we're fanboys of Will Benson and you guys are so clueless, he sucks, he's a quadruple A player. All we were saying was, I'd like to take the gamble. Yeah, he might suck. Like, he very much might. He might go 0 for 4 with 4 strikeouts when you bring him up in San Francisco, and you never see him again, and he comes back and he's still not a great player. But I do know this, and I'm not trying to beat a dead horse, but I'll say it one last time. I'd rather just die on the hill of a guy that could possibly help us than go run out guys like Garrett Hampson and Connor Joe and Santiago Espinal playing first base. And again, I'm not trying to be disrespectful to these guys, but, like, let's just use a little bit of brain power when it comes to what ceilings mean. And all ceilings mean to me is, if things go perfectly, where does that put you? And that, to me, would put you in a spot where you genuinely have a team that could go win a division. If you have one of the league's best outfielders, and you have one of the league's best shortstops, and you have one of the league's best starting rotations, and you have a serviceable bullpen, and maybe you get some production out of your second baseman, and maybe you go and get a first base or DH that has some power. Then you got a baseball team. Then Then we're not doing this song and dance of, do you buy or sell? You know what we'd have then? We'd have a damn baseball team that we would be talking about. Let's win. Let's worry about our postseason rankings and whether or not we get home field advantage. And I'm not saying we'd be the Chiefs or the Patriots of the old world, but we'd be like the Baltimore Ravens, perhaps, or maybe I know that people get pissed off because I just use an in-house opponent against them, but at some point you'd be like the Green Bay Packers of old, where you just know you're going to the postseason. You're going to the postseason because you're good enough, and that's what this team needs to get. And hopefully Luis Robert is a guy we get at the deadline. And you know what? If he doesn't help us this year, I got hope that he will help next year. So, go ahead.
Someone asked who I'd give up for him. I think if you're looking blind prospect rankings, the furthest I think I'd be willing to go would be like the Reds number 9 prospect, Sammy Stafora. Maybe. I need to know a little bit more internal thoughts on him, because we haven't seen a whole lot. He's down at Daytona. I maybe would. Hector Rodriguez is so hot right now. He might be a sell high guy. So I think that would be. I don't think Edwin Arroyo. I know everyone wants to move him. I don't know. I don't want to sell low on him right now. So probably Sephora down would be what I would be looking at.
And I would also say, people in the chat are asking how much Robert's making. He's making a lot of money. And that also buys into the idea that you could possibly pay for keeping some prospects around. I mean, that's exactly what you'd be doing. And as far as the Reds having, I'm not saying they have all the money in the world, but they have some guys coming off the books that are making a little bit of money. I mean, Martinez, for one. I'm not saying that's a perfect trade. People are going to say, maybe we should save that money and divvy it out, but they have some money. It's not like they're completely strapped for cash when it comes to dollars and cents this offseason. Go ahead.
I have one final thought here.
Just say it.
I think Austin Hayes is trending towards a qualifying offer.
I mean, okay. How much is that going to cost? Just so I know.
It was 21 million. I remember I probably was around this time of the year. Maybe it was a little later. I said Nick Martinez might get a qualifying offer, and I remember I got a lot of no way he's gonna get a qualifying offer. And I mean, yeah, he was the National League Pitcher of the Month in September, so he played out of his mind. But Joel Luckup had I don't know what you call it, a tweet on Blue Sky. He said something on Blue Sky about Hayes and his production versus like the free agent outfielder signings. And like when you compare it, it's like, are you sure you just don't want to take another chance at Austin Hayes at 21 million on a one year deal, not one of these 5-year deals? I don't know. I mean, he's got to obviously have a much better bill of health the last 50 something games of the year. But if he stays healthy the next 50 games and produces anything close to what he's done this year, I think I'd give him a qualifying offer.
I don't know if I'm going to go there yet. I need to see more. I'm not. It really, the thing that concerns me the most with him really is another year older and a guy that has had an issue staying on the field.